So I'd show you guys another tool we have here, just a little review, I guess. This is the DeWalt DW788, I believe is the number on it. It's a 20-inch scroll saw. It's probably my favorite tool in the whole shop. I love scroll sawing. That's how I got into woodworking with my grandpa. I convinced him to buy a little Ryobi scroll saw with some of the money that I had, and we got one. And about maybe 7-8 months later, it kicked the bucket, and we took it in to get it serviced. The service took like 2 or 3 months to get it back to us, and it still didn't work right. It never worked right again after that. It would bounce and it would sputter, and it was terrible. It doesn't compare to this. Shortly after we got the scroll saw repaired and returned to us, the old one, my grandpa was tired of that, and he went out and bought this. I convinced him that this was the scroll saw to get, and he went to Grizzly, where we had gotten the lathe several months later after that. I think this was like about $400, which was a pretty good deal. It wasn't on sale. It was just the way Grizzly sold them. They were able to get a good deal for them, and of course we live in Pennsylvania here, pretty close by the Grizzly showroom in Lycoming County. It's about a 2-hour drive, so it isn't bad. This is probably one of the best intermediate scroll saws ever. It's for the price that you pay. $500 is probably a bit much. I usually see that at Woodcraft. That's what they have them for. But if you can get it on sale or used for $400, $300, $200 or something like that, it's amazing. So we'll turn it on here. Here, run. It's not very loud. There's almost no vibration at all. It isn't bolted down or anything. It's just sitting on this little bit of padding. So the table hardly vibrates. The only really moving parts are these arms here. There's an arm there and one underneath the table there. And there's these bars inside here that the motor moves back and forth, and they push right here. And a reciprocating motion similar to a sawzall. And that gets transferred to an up and down motion by these little arms. One of the other nice things about it is this tension lever. It's accurate, it's repeatable, it's up front, it does everything you need. It's not like something in the back where you gotta tighten it up, a knob, you have to spin it and get it right, and you have to pluck the blade to figure it out, if it's tight enough. With this, there's a little number scale so you know how tight you want it, and then you just set it back. It's that quick, it's that easy, it's awesome. One of the other nice things is this blower. Cheap scroll saws, it's this little plastic tube attached to this foot thing that's down here to keep the workpiece on the table, and it just blows in one direction, towards you. Stupid, right? With this, you can adjust it however which way you can point it so it blows all the way back or to the side or whatever you want. It goes everywhere. It's awesome. Let's see, what are some other things about it? It's got a real easy to see speed indicator knob up there, so you can see that's the lowest speed, is very slow. And you can see, let me put the tension up there so it doesn't rattle. See, it obeys the speed knob very easily. Now, normally I have a foot pedal for this that would go on the floor, but we're moving everything around in the shop and readjusting where everything will be. See, it's very messy. You can see these sawhorses on top of our table saw, which is yet to be wired up for 220 volt. Well, the saw is already wired for 220 volt. We just need an outlet, which is starting to take shape over there. But anyway, what are some other features? This saw is plenty powerful. It has a 1.3 amp motor. I think some of the other ones, like from Ryobi, I think are like 1.1, 1.2, so it's a little bit more powerful, not really much. But for scroll sawing, you're usually not cutting very thick material, so it has power to do whatever you want when it comes to scroll sawing anyway. Now, one of the nice things down here is it has an angle setting for the table, and it goes left and right, so it goes a full 45 degrees either way. And that's, the scale on it's pretty accurate. The zero marking on it is pretty good, so you don't have to square it up too often, really. I usually don't cut too many angled things, just when I'm doing some small inlays or maybe cutting some bowls, some rings, and you stack them on top of each other and glue them together. Trying to think of anything else. Oh, and just this little modification we made. We had bought this magnifying light at Woodcraft on sale for $30, and we were trying to figure out a way to put it on the scroll saw. And if you put it on the table that has a magnet there, it's in the way when you want to spin something around the blade, you know, making cuts. And I saw a modification from Steve Good's website, the scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com. Great website for beginning scroll sawers and anybody who likes scroll sawing in general, really. And this base here that you clamp to like a workbench came with it, and we just drilled a hole and used this knob here. Now originally there was an arm that came down here to the blade, and that would help to hold a workpiece down if you had something bouncing around. But once you get good at scroll sawing, you can just hold it down with hand pressure, really. You just drill a hole through that and put that in, and then that magnetic base goes on here, and of course, there you go. You can see it magnifies. Hopefully you can kind of see that, which is nice for cutting detailed scroll work, such as show you some. This was originally underneath the scroll saw table, but like I said, we're moving things around. Just gonna show you this. It's a Farmall H tractor. It's 1/8 inch thick plywood. I haven't made a frame for it yet, but I made 3 of these at once. You can see I have 2 more. So I have a total of 3 here. These are really nice. I love making these kind of scroll saw things. They're really cool. But yep, you can make stuff, you know, this thin really easily with the scroll saw. It doesn't vibrate too much. It won't break, you know, things, so long as you're reasonably careful. So that's my spin on a scroll saw. You know, if you can afford, you know, the scroll saw and you're really interested in doing it, I would say go out and buy this right away. You know, if you have experience, or if you know you like it. Now, if you don't know if you want to do scroll sawing yet, I would advise you get something cheaper or used for a less price. Like I said, the Ryobi scroll saw we had kind of sucked compared to this, but for $120 it was the bee's knees. So, well, it wasn't the bee's knees, but it was good enough to get you by. You could cut stuff with it, pretty accurate, and it vibrated a bit more than this one, but it was livable, you know. So, great machine, worth the money. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them or ask them, whatever.